I am delighted to say I'm here with David now from College and County. We just had your the austere founder. He's hardly photo fit, is he? For he's not an identikit to what most people would describe as a stage agent.
No,
it's
not.
Fantastic. You've got that sort of, and it flows. You can see through the whole organisation.
Yeah,
Talk us through your position here and how long you've been.
So I was actually a tenant of College and County.
Okay.
Yeah, so I rented through College and County 13 years ago, and basically met Mark. I was studying to become a chartered surveyor, and Mark encouraged me to get involved with some student lettings and sort of helping out. And then, after I finished, I was due to go and work for Savills. I had a job lined up to go and do my sort of professional qualification to become a surveyor. And Mark offered me at that stage to become a partner in a business.
He did his Steve Jobs conversation.
He did,
there, said, you don't want to go work for Savills, who are they?
I think it was a lot of you'll be a small fish rather than the big fish and all that sort of stuff.
So you can imagine that brilliantly.
And then that was 12 years ago now. So I've seen the company grow, but I mean I've always seen my job as kind of trying to keep true what Mark's sort of, I suppose, the thing that made us different here stayed in place, because I think that's key, to both our staff retention and our relationship with our clients. It's always been the ethical side of things, and the approach being that we're not just trying to do what everyone else is doing. We're trying to do it better.
Yeah, once you get a nice niche like that, isn't it? I mean, there's a real value in that.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think it helped grow the business into what it is today.
Okay, that's great. So we haven't got rid of him, by the way, just so you can. So you're going to completely argue against what he's just said previously. But that'll be interesting. Just how joined up you are with it.
Just put like my answer in his answer and see what comes out.
I mean, obviously, what we're talking about here today, apart from obviously being fantastic to learn about your business, this is about kerfuffle and the challenges that agents have with suppliers. And I think we mentioned when we were talking off camera before that you were surprised as Mark when you went through the survey that you were using 17 different suppliers there, and I think that's true for everyone. That pretty much everyone has, they felt it was much more, sort of 8 or 9.
Absolutely. I don't think you realise that what you accumulate over the years, and until you actually take a moment and sit back and look at actually, how important are these people? How much value you're actually getting from these regular payments that are coming straight off the top of our profits. So this kind of market, when you start thinking about that and you start doing your breakdown, it's the same as, personally, if you've got suddenly a big expense coming, you start looking at actually what's coming in, how useful are those things, and,
Absolutely.
So it's
and needing to have that review
definitely.
as well, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what we were talking about, obviously with Emily, our marketing manager, we were talking about encouraging agents to have like a supplier audit day, which she did point out was abbreviated to SAD. Which is probably how most people would feel. When you've got that number though, isn't it? It's important to make sure that you are getting best usage. And I don't think it's just that, it's not enough. Is it being used? Is it being used in the way that we were promised? And is it demonstrable ROI? Otherwise, what do we do? Because otherwise, it's just like the apps on your phone, isn't it? That aren't on the first page. You never use them.
And there's a never-ending list of options. Every day we get contacted by someone suggesting there's something else that we should be having and adding on to our. So it's really important that we're actually careful and considerate about who we do work with and who we do add on to the supplier base.
And I guarantee, having sat on the other side of the fence, that every one of those new businesses is saying, you just need one more listing to pay for this. And it's like tax freedom day. Pretty soon you've got to work till June, haven't you, before you start earning yourself money. But anyway, I've learnt my lesson and I'm here to help you out now, so that's it. One of the main things that people highlighted as well was that lack of connectivity, the lack of integration being a real issue between those there. I think when it works well, it's demonstrably, it shows why everything should be like that. You're a big fan of Dupix, I think it's fair to say. We've got live, so it's in that settling down period.
We are, absolutely. I mean, we've only actually been using Dupix for about 3 months, but to be honest, it's already massively changed some of our processes, and I think it's been a really nice opportunity for us to review our processes as well.
Just the same, which I found. I'll let you in on one little secret. You might start swearing here. He said, "I feel like we should almost change software."
I know.
Yes.
I'm not sure quite how well that will get done with everyone, but it's been really well received. It's not been as painful as, to be honest, we were worried it could be.
Look, it's the foundation of your business, genuinely, isn't it? A CRM, by definition, is normally the first thing you log into, the last thing in there, and everything from websites and things like that come from it. So it really can't just be a sticking plaster there.
No.
It's how much you can mitigate that.
Definitely, and I think we're only starting to build in the potential that we can get from it as well. There's other aspects we can hopefully add on to it, and the bits of integration it allows, I think, will become really useful over the next couple of years.
And let's talk about that. It's also one of the examples. I know you've only just signed with those guys as well, but Van Milde, who you're kind of referencing, there's a classic example. They've got a really nice bit of integration with Dupix, haven't they? So directly from it yourself, you can just order the reference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, we've always across the whole group, we've always previously done referencing in-house, and we still do referencing in-house in Oxford, but we started looking at because they were the benchmark really for what we could get as far as a referencing company, and because they integrated with Dupix, it was a perfect opportunity for us to give that a try. And yet, so far, it's met our expectation. It's been great. It's worked really well for us, and hopefully streamlining our process a little bit so that we are, as much as possible, making ourselves as efficient as we can be, so that we can, process the deal quickly and effectively, and ensure that it's done as well as it can be.
Because talk us through that. Because I was obviously, and it's so logical, but it's very lumpy, isn't it? In terms of you can have a huge intensive period because it's obviously a lot student based.
Well, particularly, so we have massive cycles. We have really busy times and much quieter times in the Oxford cycle in particular. So the bits of software we use have to adapt to that. And I think one of the things we were talking about before was Good Lord and the benefits we got from that in that respect, because we have mentally busy times of year where we wouldn't have a staff to do it manually. We have to rely. It could not happen. When we in November, December every year in the Oxford office, we probably let about 150 properties. I do about 150 deals. Each of those deals has, on average, 4 or 5 tenants. So when we were collecting an admin fee previously and a holding fee going forwards, you're talking sort of 800 transactions potentially that need to come through as far as a payment being received. If we were doing that manually as we used to, it would be crippling. We wouldn't get anything done. We'd be waiting on the phone, chasing people up.
They're all pissed off as well, aren't they? So.
Whereas Good Lord allows us to kind of, basically at night, what I love is I can be at night, I'll get messages through on my phone showing me that people are paying holding fees, they're filling out their application forms, they're signing tenancy agreements, and I'm not doing anything. I've got no staff in the office, I've got no one actually working, all of this stuff's just happening in the evenings, which is ideal.
That's the definition of technology.
It is, absolutely.
That's really interesting. And on the flip side of that, we were talking as well, you do use digital signatures and DocuSign, obviously giants in that.
Absolutely.
It's interesting you were talking so that actually, because there are other, obviously there are other, I think it's Signable, there's Adobe, isn't he? All of those ones out there. But your point was quite apt to see that DocuSign seemed to have nailed it in terms of both the trust and the simplicity. So that actually, because you can send these things out, doesn't mean you're going to get them back, does it?
No, I mean we sometimes have clients that really struggle with e-signature as an idea, whereas generally speaking, DocuSign seems to be well received. It seems to be people don't call us up and go, what do I do? How do I get through this stage? Or what do I click on? It seems to be that it allows us to get that signature, get that permission or whatever it is from them in as quick process as we can do, and that's always the problem. You don't want to get the benefits of an e-signature with the negatives of having to chase them and talk them through it every time. So the simpler they can make that system, the better, and that seems to work well for us.
Yeah, it's good. That is really good. All the timeliness as well, and the saving on postage, all of those things are just second nature.
Well, we had an office that we sort of started working with in locally in Tame, just outside Oxford quite recently, and they previously had never done any e-signatures before, and they were saying, "Oh, our clients will be worried about it. They won't like it." But I mean, we've literally got all 200 properties onto an e-signature platform over a 12-month period, and they love it.
It's funny, isn't it, how quickly people move into it's like online banking. I am never doing online banking, and then no one's been into a bank for the last 5 years.
It's a no-brainer across the board. It really makes a massive difference to how efficient we are. The record keeping, so it means you don't have to scan an agreement in afterwards and keep and save it on file because it's all digital. It's all nice PDFs and neat and tidy.
IP logged as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing things there. Okay. Now a bit more contentious in this one here is, and of course, is because they're just normally you're just they're the pantomime villains. But talk us through your relationship with Rightmove, and I think it was quite interesting again talking off camera here. Actually, is we know they're expensive, so that's kind of let's just get that one out of there. But clearly the reason why, you know, almost every single one of my clients said, look, if you can get a deal with Rightmove, they're doing that because they appreciate as well at the end of the day. It's the value that they deliver.
Yeah, I mean, hugely. I mean, they are expensive, that goes without saying, but they are pivotal really to the industry and to our business. Generally speaking, as an agent in Oxford, they provide us with the best leads often. We have the best customer service from them, so they're the reps we work with.
So they were very good.
They're really good, and they follow.
That's critical, isn't it? Because
massively,
that empathy. I think that one of the things they sometimes get hit with in other ones is where they've potentially had people who have come from an advertising background. You know, they're not going to have the empathy with understanding that others have built up.
And you do genuinely get the impression that they are trying to get you to get the most out of the package you have. So it's not that when the rep comes along every time they're trying to flog you something else. It's that quite often they'll come along and they go, "Oh, you're not using this," or "Why don't we do this?" And they'll chase you up on making sure that you know, if you haven't updated it just feels like it's a little bit more of a partnership approach, which is really valuable, and is really nice to have someone else kind of looking at those things, because it's a big aspect of the brand and the way the business is portrayed. And so in that respect, you know, I can't really knock them. You know, they kind of do that aspect really well, and they provide good quality leads, and you know, it's important for our clients
we'll
to be
just
there.
make sure that this never gets seen by Rightmove.
Absolutely,
so
don't tell them about it.
You're doing all right. Now, Touchright is one of the companies that you listed that I think you said you've been really impressed with.
Yeah, I kind of changed the way. So when we originally, probably about 5 years ago, when we started thinking about doing sort of app inspections, we started trying to build our own. So we went down the process of getting a developer to try and build our own process to create an inventory, an inspection and an inventory, and send it back to the office. We realised very quickly that it's not our game. We're not. So we backed up. We met in the process the people who run Touchright, and it was obviously a growing business, having lots of investment and lots of development, and we've helped and part of its growth, to be honest. We've seen it adapt and seen it develop around, to some extent, our processes, because if we've had problems, they've been really responsive and flexible with the way it works. And so we've now got it to a stage where it saves a huge amount of staff time, because we can go out, we create really nice branded PDFs of an inspection report. We send inspection reports to both tenant and landlord, so that we can slightly tweak them. And if it's something that the tenant one can be just informing them of what they need to make sure they're doing, and the landlord one's just keeping them in the loop of what we're doing and what we're keeping them informed with. And the whole system and the platform allows a lot of flexibility and a lot of streamlining.